See, it's a goat, and he's got MF Doom's mask on, because MF Doom is the goat. See, he's the goat. He's the goat, but he's also literally the goat. Get it? Because goat is like the you know, and now it's but he's literally a goat. It's like MF Doom is the goat. That's the joke there. Is he quite literally, using the word literally properly as it's literally supposed to be used, to say MF Doom is literally he's the goat. He MF Doom is literally the goat. That was funny, wasn't it? Oh, it's funny for a second. I got something not in my teeth, like between my gum and my lip, my upper lip, in the little like recess area there. A crumb of some sort. A crumb of semen, of dried, coagulated semen, no less. I want to draw something Simpsons-y. Oh, I got a pen. I got this pen. I want penis. Do. I was buying shit in the stationery store and I was looking at the pens, as I always do. I always have a look at the pens. And I saw this one and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like this, but without the green. And it's got an orange instead of a green. Otherwise, it looks almost identical. I'm sure the colours are slightly different in terms of ink. I've not used this at all yet, so we'll see. But it's got an orange instead of the green, and I rarely use the green unless I'm drawing like goblins and shit. But I don't know. I thought I'd get a. Oh, that's a nice orange as well. It's Pentel, and they make pens. They make relatively good pens, I suppose. Oh, it is a ballpoint, but it comes out almost like a gel pen. That's a new. That's not new. It's just fucking whatever, isn't it? It's very blotchy. You get all these little like dark spots where it's blotchy. I don't know. I feel like drawing Simpsons-y things because I've been. What have I been doing? I've been doing The Simpsons. I've been watching The Simpsons. There's things. Do I have things to talk about? I have things to say. I don't know if I've got anything. I don't know if I've got anything to talk about, but I have things to say. Regardless, he's going to be like a little like Flesh Bob, but it's Bart Simpson. That's what's in my head, so that's what I'm going to draw. That's how art works. You take something from in your head and you put it on the page, like a goat in a mask, and then you call him the goat. He's literally. See, MF Doom was literally, in that instance, he was literally the goat. But he was literally the goat. Right, so this might be a bit more subdued. It might be a bit more relaxed. You get loads of the little spots. That happens with ballpoint pens. These dark spots, and I don't mind them at all. I even sometimes I like that they appear in drawings where sometimes they normally wouldn't be, like those extra little blobs of ink, because it's just part of the medium. It's part of the tool. If you're using ballpoint pens, you expect little blobs of ink here and there. It's just part of it, and it's, you know, There's no reason to hide the fact that you're using a ballpoint pen. So if you get little blobs and squiffs and scrabs here and there, it's no biggie. It's all part of the fucking thing. But there's a lot coming out of this new pen of mine. For some reason, I decided to just treated myself to a new pen. But this might be a more subdued. I don't know if my voice sounds any different. I think I came close to losing my voice. As I'm recording this now, yesterday I finished recording and uploaded my dramatic reading of Slain the Horned God, which was fun. I read the book for the first time, which was fun, and it's good. It's funny. There's a lot of humour in it. It's very pro-woman and anti-patriarchy, which is good. It's not anti-men, which a lot of people get about like that. If something's pro-woman and anti-patriarchy, they're like, oh, you just hate men. Why do you hate men? It's like, no, it's about women having power, not over men, but having power, as opposed to men having power over women, which is, you know, I don't need to, well, maybe I do need to explain the patriarchy to some people, but it's a very rich, dark pink, isn't it? Mm. Just like my penis. But yeah, so there's a lot of, like, you know, it's all death and rebirth and ruling and power over others and you know, bloods and killing and maiming and a dwarf and funny bits. It's good. I enjoyed it. You know, it would make a good film. I think it took me just over 2.5 hours to read dramatically. You could probably read through it a lot quicker, but yeah, I reckon you could make it into a decent, like, 2-hour film. I don't think it needs to be. You could make it longer than 2 hours. I don't think it needs to be longer than 2 hours. I think when films get longer than 2 hours, especially these days, like, it feels like everyone tries to make their films epic and huge and just long, like needlessly long. Like, very few films need to be over 2 hours long. Even then, 2 hours can sometimes be pushing it a bit. Anyway, about halfway through my dramatic reading, just over halfway, my throat started to hurt because of all the voices I was doing. I was doing a lot of Scottish accents and all kinds of shit. Yeah, towards the end of it, my throat was actually, like, I was struggling to keep reading, and every time I did, like, the gruff, because I wasn't just doing a Scottish accent, I was doing a Scottish accent like this, and that really, really hurt my throat towards the end. And so I woke up this morning, I can still feel it a bit, but my throat really hurt this morning, and my voice was like this. Like, without trying, my voice was just really, really, like, deep, like this, which is kind of cool. I actually kind of like it, and I'd prefer if my voice was like this in general. I think it's a lot more sort of manly, and as I'd like to put myself across. But, of course, soon enough, it's not quite there at the moment, but soon enough, I know my voice is going to be right back to its normal fucking stupid, dumb, oh, isn't everything bloody brilliant and shit, you cunts? That's just the way it goes, isn't it? So I might not be as energetic and expressive today because of that, because I'm a little bit like, I have time, I could leave it a day or two before recording this episode, but I don't want to. I want to record it now, and you know, it's real, isn't it? Oh God, even that just hurt my throat a bit. It's real, isn't it? You know, it's I could sit and wait until Everything's fine. Wait until my throat's better. Oh, don't record until my throat's feeling better. Make sure everything's good and as it should. Like, nah, it's all good. Just take it easy. Just take it easy. And legitimately, like, just then, my throat did start hurting as I sort of like raised my voice a little bit. So I'm gonna have to be at least a little bit careful, lest I don't know, fuck myself over. Wouldn't that be funny if there's you know, my big main number one fear, other than water, that's my big fear, by the way. I can't swim, and I'm terrified of large bodies of water. Also small bodies of water, also any water, which is why I never shower or wash or brush my teeth or shit in a toilet that uses water, doesn't it? I shit dry in the garden. I cover it with sticks, and then that was funny. Other than that, my big fear is losing like my right hand or my sight, losing the ability to draw. Basically, that's like my worst fear. But I've never really thought about the fear of losing the ability to talk. And it's not fear, it would just be kind of funny, almost ironic, but not really ironic. But it would be kind of funny if I lost the ability to talk, and then when it comes to, like, you know, if for instance I woke up and I had zero voice and I just couldn't talk at all. I'd fucked myself over too much, too many silly Scottish accents and gruff voiceovers and, you know, loud sound effects and screaming the C word at the top of my lungs. And my vocal cords just fucking turned to dust and they were gone and I couldn't talk anymore. At first I'd be like, oh, well, you know, at least I can still draw. And then I'd probably sit down and get ready to record a podcast, and then I'd be like, oh, internally in my mind, I'd be thinking, oh, fuck. God damn it. And then, I don't know what I'd do. I'd try to, like, record a podcast to explain what had happened, but I'd be, like, writing notes, like, scribble noises. Hello, I've lost my voice, I think permanently? Question mark? I don't know, it's fucked. I literally cannot talk, literally, I literally cannot talk. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? That'd be hilarious. Wouldn't that be fucking hilarious if I just couldn't talk anymore? I'm sure some people out there would be happy. The comments I get, your art's really good, but your fucking voice is annoying. I got a comment like that the other day. Normally, if I get a comment like that saying your voice is annoying, it's very often followed up with something along the lines of, but your artwork's good. And then that's like, I sort of don't mind. Because if people are watching my videos and they find my voice annoying, which I understand, because I get it. I understand. I do. My voice, it's not a charming one. I don't feel that it is anyway. So if people find it annoying, I totally get it. I understand. But then, as long as they like the artwork, that's the most important part to me. If you like the artwork, that's okay, cool. I don't, you know, find my voice annoying as much as you like, say harsh things about it, but as long as you appreciate the fact that the artwork's good, then I'm all good. But I do every now and again, and I got one the other day, I do get comments that leave out the bit about the art, and they just say, your voice is really fucking annoying. I can't stand your voice. Your voice is stupid. These videos would be great if you just shut up. Or, which I guess is kind of saying the artwork's good, but they don't really mention it like that. And I delete those comments because they make me feel bad. And, you know, there's no reason to keep them around. Because otherwise it might be that, like, somebody else leaves a nice comment and I get the notification of the nice comment and I go to look at it, and then right under the nice comment I see your voice is shit, you should stop talking. So I delete those comments just so I don't have to see them, because I shouldn't have to see them. I mean, if the person watched the video, then I guess that's something. You took the time to watch the video, but if you're just going to say some shit like, your voice is shit, then don't watch my videos. Go fuck yourself. Make me feel bad. Fucking asshole. As if my sense of self-worth wasn't fragile enough. That there's some cunts out there going, your voice is shit. Stop it. Stop making videos. Stop having a shit voice. Oh, look at that. It's a funny little Bart Simpson. He's running about the place. Oh. My throat hurts so much when I talk like that. I ought to not. Why The Simpsons? I've been rewatching The Simpsons lately. And so I felt like doing some Simpsons themed artwork. I'll probably do, I don't know, maybe not probably. Maybe I'll do something more Simpsons-y. Oh, I could do, should I do some kind of Simpsons based comic? Maybe something post-apocalyptic. I was thinking about maybe trying to crowdfund something, because a lot of the issue with getting comics done, or not getting comics done as it may be, is, you know, I literally can't afford to spend the time to make them. I have to work on commissions. I have to make smaller projects that I can sort of, you know, like getting Librarian Baboon done. It was a fun little gag comic just to make. It was a funny joke. Wouldn't it be funny if it was a little comic? Made it into a little comic, and yet it's funny. But a large part of like the impetus, I've got to Google that word to make sure I'm using it correctly. Impetus. Come on. Oh, I spelt it wrong. I spelt it with an O-U-S instead of just a U-S. Oh well. Impetus. The force or energy with which a body moves. Or something that makes a process or activity happen more quickly. So yeah, the thing that made the process of me making the comic happen more quickly, the impetus, a large part of the impetus of making the Baboon Librarian comic an actual comic was having an item to sell, to make sure I can pay rent, which was a little bit tricky this past month. It happens. So sadly, as much as I'd like to spend months working on, and this is shit I've said time and time again, I'm not saying anything new or previously unheard, but it is what it is. You know, I'd love to spend months making a really like solid graphic novel, but I just cannot afford to at this time. I hope that the time comes I can. But I was thinking, if I can crowdfund something like that, but then a part of the money, I don't know how I feel about this though, because at least some part of that money would have to go towards literally paying my rent and bills while I make the comic, to give me time to make the comic, as well as having to go towards like printing costs and stuff. And so I don't know how comfortable I feel with that, like taking people's money to pay my rent. Which, I mean, I do that anyway, but I literally produce work or objects for people to buy that they purchase from me, and that money goes towards my rent. Whereas if it's like a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe to make a book, and then a large chunk of the money goes towards just paying my rent, maybe that's completely fine, and maybe people would be okay with that. Maybe I'd need to express that's what some of the money would go towards. Maybe I don't, but it just is what it is. It will take some thought. I need to think about it somewhat. What's the blue like? I've not used the blue yet. Oh, very rich. I do like the colours in this pen, and it flows really well. It's really smooth, This is I think it's basically a moleskin, not quite a moleskin, but this paper kind of sucks. Moleskin paper in general kind of sucks for ballpoint pens because they can kind of like dig into it, and I think maybe like fibers and stuff from the paper clog up the ball. That's not even rude or funny. And then it can sort of stop the ink flowing well in the pen. So the paper can literally stop ballpoint pens from working properly, I find. But that doesn't seem to be happening with this one. This is flowing really, really nicely, really breezy and easily over the paper. So that's cool. And maybe it might also be an issue with how I use ballpoint pens. It's even been described by others that it's almost like I carve my drawings, I carve into the paper with my fucking harsh lines, which is true. It's absolutely true. I perfectly absolutely would accept that as a, not a criticism, but as a description of my technique or whatever. What do we have here? Let's cut it open and find out. I should be a bit careful. I don't want to carve into it too hard. Ooh. 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 It's librarian. I feel the need to like shout and holler and be like, it's librarian. Oh my god. Trampoline. That's a Simpsons reference. But as previously stated, my throat hurts, so I'm not going to do that. But look, ooh, see, I had some copies. They're right here. I got these printed. See, all right. Full disclosure, because you know I will continue to be the most honest person on this fuckhole of the internet. These were test copies. I could have just got one printed, but I got 3 because that way I can take pictures and it looks a bit more legitimate. I can use a picture for the website and so I get a few copies printed to test them, just to sort of look like I've got a comic that exists, even though there's only 3 copies. And then put them up for sale, take the sales, see sort of how many I've got, and then get a number of copies printed based on that, and use some of the money from the sales to help with printing costs. That's where I'm at the moment. I can't quite afford to just print a whole fucking thing. Oh, excuse me. Also, staying honest, the box wasn't actually taped up when I got it back from the printers, when I picked it up from the printers, which is just around the corner from my house, very conveniently. But I taped it shut so I could do like a proper unboxing, even though that's not how I received the box. See, I'm so honest. I'm letting you all know. But so now I've got a bunch of copies ready to send out. So I've got a bunch of orders, and they'll all be on their way soon. I mean, by the time this goes up, most of these will probably be sent out. So that's cool. Have you seen this yet? Oh, it's brilliant. One thing I do like about this is I've said before how I really like silent comics, like comics that don't have any dialogue in them. They can have words. This does have words in it. It's got like a couple of sound effects and stuff. There's a sound effect here. Push, as he's pushing the chair. Whack Donald, that's the ketchup on the ketchup packet. So yeah, there are words, but there's no dialogue. And I really, really like comics with no dialogue because it's purely the images telling the story. And that's not necessarily the point of comic books, but that's certainly, I'd say, like 75 to 90% of the point of having a comic book is to use the picture. It's like when you have a film with loads and loads of narration in it. It's like, why do I need somebody to tell me what's happening in a story when you can just show on camera what's happening in the fucking story? Yes, I'm looking at you, Zombieland. Piece of shit film. I fucking hate that film. Never saw the sequel. Don't give a shit. I hate that film so much. I love zombie films. You know, I wrote my fucking dissertation about zombies. Um, but I really like storytelling with pictures when you don't need words, and you throw a few words in here and there. But so yeah, I think I tried to make most of my comics readable through the images, and then throw words in and dialogue for context where necessary. I feel like Gun Viking needed a lot to be explained because there was like no story, so I had to make it up with the words in that. Death Fist needed a little bit of exposition at the beginning, but then most of the actual comic was basically visual. And this, happily, is, you know, it's only like 10 or 12 pages long, but it's dialogue free. There's not a single word spoken. It's all done through gestures and facial expressions and settings and funny bums on phones and shit. Oh, it's brilliant. It says cock on his backpack. It's funny. So yeah, I'm kind of, you know, proud of myself for that. It's a silly, funny, fun little comic. I like this. His angry face. Look, it's like his eye, but it's not. It's fucking angry. Spoilers. He puts his thumbs in this guy's eyes. That's funny, isn't it? Taken away by animal control. Look, the animal control van. It says pound that dog. That makes it sound like sex. So that's cool. So those will be heading out forthwith, promptly. And here's a book. Oh, I did want to do Simpsons. I'm trying to, like, I want to do something Simpsons art related. I just can't quite find the hook. I need like I did think of like, because I've got, this is my collection. It's not, obviously it's not a full set, but it's seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Some of the absolute best episodes of The Simpsons are within these DVD collections. Basically the first sort of 9 seasons, and then the 10th is a bit hit and miss, and from there on it's just fucking nonsense. Anyway, so I've been rewatching them just for fun, just because I literally remembered that I own the DVD box sets, so I got them out of a bigger box, and I've been watching them, and they're good. And I thought one idea I had was I could do like one drawing or illustration or piece of artwork from each episode, which might be a lot, but at the same time it's not that. I mean, it's 20 drawings per season-ish. But then I thought maybe if I just pick out like a handful, like 5 episodes per season of the early seasons, and do a piece of artwork, and that could be like just one simple, like this, just a spot illustration, a character drawing from a particular episode that relates specifically to the episode. That's one thing I want to be clear about, is I don't want to have just like a picture of Homer, because that's like, that could be in literally any and every episode ever. But if it's like, for instance, Homer with the donut head, that's from a very specific episode. That's only that one episode. So yeah, so I could do single spot illustrations of things, objects, characters, mascots and things. But then I could also do several like scene drawings of actual scenes, or fucking whatever. One of my favorite things about The Simpsons is like the signs, comics, magazines, newspaper clippings, TV shows, all the ephemera, all the stuff within Springfield. That is created within Springfield. It's the drawing of a drawing of a drawing, that sort of thing that I like. It's the animation of a thing that's, you know, that could be a good little illustration. But then I also thought I don't want to draw them like, here is a drawing of The Simpsons. I want to draw them more like this. Just funny, weird, out there, fucking silly drawings. But they're obviously The Simpsons. And if you know the episodes, then you'll be able to pinpoint, oh, this is from that episode, that's from this episode, etc., etc., etc. And no reason for it. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Oh, I've things to say about that girl. That reminded me. Lots of umming today. That's because I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, so the idea for some Simpsons art like that, it's not for anything. I want to do it. I want to make some Simpsons art. It's a lot easier to do a handful of illustrations than it is to put a graphic novel together, because that's a series of illustrations, but they have to work with each other in sequence, and then as page layouts and story development and mood and fucking whatever else. Whereas, 5-6 drawings from a whole season of The Simpsons randomly drawn here and there. It's a lot easier to do that sort of shit. I could throw them all into a zine at the end. I could have like a Simpsons seasons 4 to 8 drawings zine. I don't know. Something. Hey, that's just like that. Look at that. That's almost actually completely. This was not planned at all. This is completely coincidental. I haven't looked through this book in fucking years. That's quite funny actually. That's almost exactly what I'm aiming for in my head. If I do draw like scenes from the seasons of The Simpsons, I want it to be like this. Maybe not as different. Like if I was going to draw it from a scene from The Simpsons, I'd give him a full body, but it would look more like this than this. But you'd still be able to tell it's Bart Simpson running naked from the police, for instance. So that's quite a cool, completely unintentional, hugely coincidental little side by side of what's sort of in my head as a plan for something Simpsons, something. And books like these are good because the book itself is like, and I've always thought that about like Simpsons books when they're like, hey, it's a guide to Springfield. Oh, check out the nightlife, check out lodging, check out dining and other nightlife. Oh, I already said that one. Like I don't care to read through all of these and be like, oh, you can go here and there's this and that. What I do like is literally just, it's almost like how me and Sam, one of the only things we ever talk about is The Simpsons. We just reference the old Simpsons episodes at each other again and again when we do spend time together. And that's almost like what this is. It just sort of like, you see one thing like this, just one drawing of her in a book, and it puts the thing in my head of like, oh, I remember that. That's cool. That makes me think of this and makes me think of that. That's what I like about these books, where you just see like one thing, like where he got the elephant, that episode. And that was a funny episode. Or the time when that guy showed up in the Poochie episode, the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie episode. Was his name Roy or something? So yeah, that's why I like these books, because they're good for just like little McBain. There was and I watched an episode the other day. It might have even been earlier today. Where they had like a little clip of a McBain film, and there was a few points in it where I was like, shit, I should screenshot that and redraw it as Gun Viking, because it was like a really good pose of McBain firing like 2 guns at once or whatever. Ow, that hurt. Which I think is funny. That like I'm finding little scenes in The Simpsons to steal from for my own comics and things. So yeah, they're good for little references, just to sort of see and be inspired by things like Can I borrow a feeling? Can I borrow a feeling? Hurting hearts need some healing. Pick me up with your glove of love. I don't know if you got it before, but so that's MF Doom, and he's MF Doom is the GOAT, but here he's literally the GOAT here. He's MF Doom he is literally the GOAT in this. So because he's the GOAT, but here he's lit. That was funny. There was I've done all right. Well, because I'm the most honest man online. That I'm filming this bit the next day after filming the other bits. Because my throat really hurt, so I stopped. I started recording a bit, and I went, it hurts a bit, so I stopped, and now I'm recording. So I've done little other bits of drawings and things. Oh look, it's Maggot, Block, Scampskin, and Maggot, and I don't want to show everything, but some Gorts, and a Lego Millhouse, but it's Mego Lil House. It's funny, isn't it? Look, because that's an MF Doom line. Out in the streets, you won't survive with whack ass bleats. See, the line is beats in this. It's at the start of the song. I hear voices, but bleats are that's what goats and sheep and lambs do. They bleat, and you don't even change the word. You just pop an L in there. You just insert a nice long thin L into the, and it's bleats. Fuck off. Itchy and Scratchy are fun, aren't they? Oh, Inchy and Pinchy. That's the best episode of Inchy and Pinchy I've ever seen. Oh, that's from The Simpsons. Have you seen The Simpsons? Oh, brilliant. You could say The Simpsons are literally. We're not doing. I thought this yesterday, but I can't even get my sketchbook now. It's on the other side of the. Well, I could, but I'm not going. I did a few little Itchy and Scratchy doodles, because I thought if I was to do like a Simpsons themed zine, then like an Itchy and Scratchy one could be quite a good one to do. His eyes are pointing in the wrong direction. Now his pupils are too big. He looks silly. Let's give him ridiculous. It looks so un-Simpsons if you just fuck with the pupils a bit. It just looks like something completely different. It's so funny. Well, it's not that funny. Excuse me. Oh, what a shit fart I am. It could be cool to do an Itchy and Scratchy scene, because I could start off pretty mellow with just like there's one bit where it might be the one where Bart and Lisa write an episode where they're watching Itchy and Scratchy, and it's literally just Itchy stood on like a tree stump behind Scratchy, bumping him on the head with a hammer, like going dunk, and Scratchy goes ow, dunk, ow, dunk, ow, and that's it. And then at the end, I think they turn to the camera and go, "Say no to drugs," or something like that. And that's the impetus for Bart and Lisa to write their own episode, or something like that. So I could start with just like that. I could even illustrate the intro where it's they fight. I think is it fight and bite? I think it's fight and bite and fight and fight and bite. Fight, bite. I think it's fight and bite, but it might be fight. I could illustrate that. The boink, 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 boink across a couple of pages, and then throughout the zine, it could get progressively more sort of violent, more bloody, more disembowelly, more explodey. Maybe I figure I could do that for most of the zine, and then about 2/3 of the way through, I could start doing my own ones and like just make them get progressively more and more like vile and sadistic and extreme, just ridiculous, like detailed drawings of Itchy like tearing Scratchy apart. I could do like Itchy having saw-like contraptions from the movie franchise The Saw, and then he could have him all like tied up, or like, and it could be the aftermath, because I figure it would be good to show like the point of impact, I guess, in like this one where he's golfing and he smacks Scratchy's head off of his body with the golf club, like the point of violence, the exact point of violence, of the most violence. So like that bit there where he goes poink and he hits his head, or the point where Scratchy gets his head blown off, or his skin torn away from his body, or whatever it may be, or his tongue tied to the moon that retracts quickly and drags the moon into his house, crushing it and him in the process. That I could illustrate those sort of individual points. So if he's in like a saw type contraption of Itchy's making, it could be the point at which the bit I illustrate could be the point at which it has sprung. The trap has sprung, tearing the top of his head off, and there's a fountain of blood pouring out of the opening or whatever, with his tongue and teeth hanging out, going. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Oh, it'd be a laugh riot is what that would be. My throat's feeling much better now, in case you were wondering. Thank you for asking. I do feel much better. I think it was good to give it another day, just to rest up a little bit. So much for this being a calm one. No, it hurts a little bit if I do that. Ach nu! Och, the nu! Oh, I'm Sleen McCroth, and I'm gonna fucking chop you up with my axe. Kiss my axe! Hey. Fleur Scotland, when will we see? I don't know the words. I should know the words to that. I think it's the Scottish national anthem. It might not be. It might be something completely different. I know nothing about my heritage. Hey, Poochie, you look like you've got something to say. Do you? Yes, I certainly do. I have to go now. My planet needs me. They vote. And fight. Fight. Show dum. I looked up, YouTube or whatever, episodes of, and there's collections of episodes of Itchy and Spitchy. Itchy and Bum Cheese. That was funnier in my head. But also, there's this. The big book of The Simpsons seasons 1 to 8, I believe, which is almost all of the ones I have on DVD, which is convenience at its finest. Basically, the best Simpsons, before they went to shit. And then, even then, before getting bought out by Disney, and then now being a Disney product that they just pump out constantly. But look, it's got all of, there's in between the seasons. It has every episode and like an overview of the episode and bits from the episodes and quotes and gags and characters and information, which is, it's a really cool book just in general for that. But in between each season they have a page of collections of things, and this particular one is all of the Itchy and Scratchy episodes, which is really, really cool, and a little description. Let's find one. Germs of endearment. Scratchy enters Itchy's doctor's office and points to a blackboard that reads, "Today's special, tonsillectomies." Itchy grabs some tissue from the back of Scratchy's throat. Oh, tissue as in his tonsils. I thought it meant tissue like tissue paper. I didn't know what it meant. From the back of Scratchy's throat, ties it to a brick and throws it out the window. The weight of the brick yanks out all of Scratchy's internal organs. Scratchy dives out the window after his organs and manages to replace them. Puts them back in his body. In the process, he impales himself on a cactus. I saw that one the other day because I've been rewatching it. And that one genuinely made me laugh, like out loud. Because it's funny, like his intestines coming out is funny. And then as he's falling, he's like, ah, and like shoves all his intestines back in. But technically upside down, the way he shoves them in, but I guess that's irrelevant. And then it's very, very suddenly, it's just like, and he's like impaled on a cactus. There's cactus like needles through his body, including one coming out of each eye. And it's not like, it's just so sudden, like he's on a cactus. And it made me laugh. I did find that funny. And that's a good one because that's like, I could illustrate, if for instance I was going to illustrate this one, I could illustrate his guts being pulled out of his body. That's quite a cool one. But also him on a cactus. That is just funny in itself. I think I would prefer if I do more Itchy and Scratchy art, if I were, for instance, this is all hypothetical, if I were to put it into like a zine, I would prefer in each illustration to have Itchy and Scratchy featured. So even if it's Scratchy impaled on a cactus where Itchy isn't in frame in the show, I may find a way to, I'll just draw Itchy in there somewhere, laughing, having a whale of a time. So it's cool that's a fucking thing. Also, I did mention, I want to talk about her, Laura Powers. I thought her name was Ruth, but I think that's the name of her mum. She's attractive, isn't she? If you aren't a Simpsons fan, if you don't already have an encyclopedic knowledge of Simpsons history, for one episode, I don't think she shows up again. I know at least her mum is in a few background shots in later episodes, and she might be, but I don't recall. So one of the Simpsons' neighbours move away from their house to sell their house, and then her and her recently divorced mum move in to that house, and Bart immediately has a crush on this slightly older girl, and they hang out and they're friends, but she's into older bad boys. She likes Jimbo, and then Bart's heart is broken. That's her arm about to rip his heart out of his chest in like a Bart sort of like imagining it happening when she says, "Oh, I have something to tell you. Meet me in the treehouse." And Bart's like, oh my god, it's gonna happen." And then he goes up to the treehouse and he sees her there, and she goes, "Bart, I have to tell you, I have a boyfriend." And then it cuts to like this, him imagining it. It's all dark and red, like red lighting. And she goes, "You won't be needing this." And she pulls his heart out and then tosses it in the trash can. Poor guy, because he had a crush on her. And, you know, for a Simpsons character, a bulgy-eyed, three-fingered, yellow-skinned fucking monstrosity that all of the Simpsons characters are, she's just a very attractive young girl. That's probably fucking 12 or 13. Maybe 14, so yeah, she's a teenager, she's fine. No, I didn't say any of that. That's all bad. I wouldn't. Well, she's a cartoon character, it's fine. I'd fuck Dora the Explorer as well. She's a cartoon character, it doesn't matter. I'm not. Jesus Christ. Maybe re-recording today was a bad idea. Right, so keep all of this in mind as I tell you a tale. Well, all I was going to say was just I had one of those. I had a Laura Powers back in the day when I was, I think, a little bit younger than Bart. I think I would have been maybe 7 or 8. And this is just something that it popped into my head when I rewatched that episode the other day. I was like, oh shit, that reminds me of... and I had thought about her a couple of times over the years, but I think because I'm particularly maybe sad and alone at the moment in life, the emotions are hitting me harder than they have done previously. And the episode sort of brings that more to light. So I would have been, maybe around 7 or 8. And this girl, I think, was probably between the age of 12 to 14-ish. Maybe something like that, I don't know. It's a bit annoying. She was my mum's friend's daughter's friend. So my mum had a friend who we called Auntie Alison, who wasn't my auntie, she was one of them. And you know, she'd babysit us now and again, or we'd all hang out at her house because my mum would be at her house and we were her kids, so we were there too. And then that friend of my mum's had a daughter called Katie, who was the age of my oldest brother. So, you know, they'd hang out and do whatever. And then that girl, Katie, at one point had a friend over who was Leslie, who was this girl. I've only ever seen her twice in my life. Around, probably within the same year, I saw her twice. But she was lovely because, well, not because, it just is what it is. But so they were all like just my older brothers and Katie and Leslie, these girls. They were all just being older kids than me, and you know, just farting around, doing whatever. I don't know, just playing older kids games, playing cards or so. I don't know, maybe video games. But I was just sat in the corner drawing because that's literally all I've ever done. Sit in the corner on my own drawing, just like now. I'm in the corner of my room, sitting alone, drawing. Although I'm not technically alone. Well, I am technically alone, but you know, I'm talking to you people. It's like you're actually here. It's like you can talk to me through the medium of internet. But at one point, Leslie came over and I was drawing like fucking like Street Fighter characters and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and things. And she goes, "Oh, you're so good at drawing. I love these. This is so cool." And she gave me a hug. And then, like, she had to leave earlier or something. So just before she left, she went, "Oh, I've got to give Ewan a hug." And she came over and she went, "Ewan's my little mate." And she gave me a hug. Like, she crouched down next to me and, like, hugged me. I think I felt her boob against, like, my arm. I'm not really sure, but I think I did. I'm going to say that I did just because it feels nice to know that. That I felt a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old girl's boob against my arm. But I was 8. It's fine. And she said, "Ewan's my little mate," and she hugged me, and she smelled nice, and she was like warm and soft and comfortable. And a part of it also is, I think this may have been like a fundamental, like almost like a canon event if you've seen Across the Spider-Verse. That sort of set me up in terms of, the girls I like or whatever. So she was wearing, I think, like black grey-ish jean shorts, I think fishnets, and like big clumpy boots, and a long sleeve like top, like a long sleeve t-shirt sort of thing, and where like you chew the sleeve, just because like, you sit in class or whatever chewing your sleeve, so it got a hole in it, and then you put your thumb through the hole. Like, it wasn't a shirt that you can buy with holes in and pre-made to put your thumbs through, because those are kind of whack. It's got a genuine chewed through hole, like threads and fibers coming away from it. So that was her, and she long brownish red hair, very similar actually to her, to Laura Powers. Mascara, and just sweet and lovely and fun and nice. And that was like almost my only interaction with her. But I don't want to overblow it, but in love. I was absolutely in love with her. I couldn't stop thinking about her for, I don't know, probably years, if not months or weeks at least. She was just so lovely. And I don't think I'd really felt that kind of touch from a person. Because it wasn't like, oh, a sexy hug, touch, nice. It was just such a kind, genuine, honest, like true, comfortable, loving, friendly niceness in hug. And like, she clearly, she didn't have to hug me. There was no, it wasn't like, "I'll give Ewan a hug, say goodbye to him." She completely decided on her own that little Ewan was her little mate. And she gave me a hug, and it's just so lovely. I don't think like my mum hugged me and stuff. You know, I got plenty of love and affection, I guess, to a degree from my mum, but that's about it. And even then, it's like the relationship there is complicated, not in an Oedipus kind of way. It's nothing like that. But I want to draw a different one. I saw her one other time, which was at the beach, and she was wearing like what girls do, where they wear like a one-piece swimsuit and then like shorts over it, a black swimsuit. She was like, I guess not goth, but like slightly leaning towards goth with like her dress and stuff. So yeah, black swimsuit and then those, I think the same sort of like dark grey, black charcoal jean shorts over the swimsuit. And again, I was just sat on the beach, you know, probably just doing this with sand, just with my hands either side of me, just doing this, sitting fully clothed on the beach, not going anywhere near the water because I'm terrified of it. I don't think I would have been drawing, but yeah, again, just hugs, and then like the sea air and her with like seawater and sand in her hair, and just smelling nice and hugging me and being like, "You and my little mate, yeah." And that's some shit that like, wait, let me pull up I've got some screenshots of Itchy and Scratchy to draw, I think. Oh yeah, there's one. That was from the opening, but I want to draw them more like, more dramatic. Yeah, and the issue, of course, is, and you might even say like, oh, why don't you try and see what she's up to these days, track her down or whatever. For one thing, I there's no way, like, other than her name's Leslie, and that's like as far as I can remember, her name was Leslie. And I think I only remember that because either one of all my brothers or her friend Katie were calling her Leslie or something. It's not a very kind thing to say, but yeah, it's kids, it's whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't know how to even start trying to track her down. And also, you know, she could be married with kids. She could be gay. I don't know. Which doesn't matter. She just could be. That could be. That's just me saying I don't know anything about her life or who she is. She could be dead. She could literally be dead. It's entirely possible that she's just fucking dead, for all the fuck I know. Who knows? Who bloody knows? Also, I was thinking about this. I have been thinking about this quite a lot recently, about how, like, for instance, pretty much any and all of my exes, or anyone I've sort of had a relationship with, if I look at them now, they're almost like, especially for some of them, how they look. Like, if I showed you a photo of them when I was in a relationship with them and a photo of them now, they're almost indistinguishable. Nope, that's the opposite. They're almost unidentifiably... What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say they don't look the same. Like, it would be hard to tell they're even the same person. Indistinguishable. Maybe that is the right word. They're almost indistinguishable. No, that's the wrong term. They're very distinguished. I need to Google the word indistinguishable because apparently I don't know how to use it. Indistinguishable. Not able to be identified as different or distinct. Not able to be identified as different. Oh yeah, so they are distinguishable because they are very different from each other. Yeah, so basically anyone I've had a relationship with, some of them literally they physically look like different people, like you wouldn't even know they were the same person that I was in a relationship with. And some of them may look similar, but like just the lives they lead are just far, far different. Which leads me to think about a lot lately how in those instances, it's like the person I was in a relationship with almost doesn't exist anymore. Like, that person just isn't a person anymore because they've changed so much over the years, which is completely fair and reasonable, because everybody changes and grows and grows up and you know, develops differently. I don't think I have, frankly. You know, I've grown and matured in a couple of ways, but maybe not in any real decent ways. So yeah, even if I were able to somehow track down this Leslie girl, it's quite likely, you know, she wouldn't be the Leslie I knew. She certainly would. She shouldn't be. She shouldn't be the 13-year-old girl that I knew for all of 5 minutes. I don't even know. And not, if I did track her down, it wouldn't be under the guise of I'd like to marry you, or, you know, even be in a relationship with you. It'd be just to like be to see, oh, what are you up to these days? What are you doing? But even then, it's like, shut up. Just there's no need for that. Just don't. Yeah, I just that she came to mind because of the episode of that girl. She just reminded me of that girl from The Simpsons, and it made me nostalgic and sad. And, you know, like I say, she sort of treated me in a way I hadn't felt treated up to that point. And maybe I don't feel I've even felt that way since. Maybe I feel like every sort of loving interaction I've had in my life, for the most part, I feel like have been transactional, and like I have to act appropriately, and I have to give something back in order to receive love like that. Whereas with Leslie, I feel like it was absolutely she just liked me, not liked me, but she thought I was just a funny little guy who was sat there drawing. But she called me her little mate, and she hugged me, and she didn't have to, and it was pure and nice. And she didn't expect anything from me. And I have not, I don't feel like I've felt that very much in relationships since. Which is terrible and sad. Like, the most kindness I felt in my life was when I was fucking 8. Especially since that was around a time when I was dealing with some other stuff. Some abuse and trauma and such, which I won't go into right now. But yeah, that was good times. Anyway, oh, look at that. Oh,